Hello, welcome back to Otter Pop Culture. Today we're going over the first album by LA-based singer Katelyn Tarver, and her first album, official album, called Subject to Change. So I came across her way back, and I want to say 2017-16, when she did a song with Lost Kings called You off their EP Bad. Um, I really liked the music video. I thought it was really fun. I thought the song was really fun. I loved her voice. So I was like, okay, let me kind of follow her without really knowing anything and just kind of go with what I like. And if I do like it, I'll keep going. And so of course I did. And I came across her doing Walking on the Moon featuring Lucadia. And that one came out in 2019. I really liked her in that. And I was like, okay, I am officially in. And then I got even further in when she released Heaven in 2020. And then she released, I made it this far, and I knew, it was like, in my head, I was like, okay, I really like her vocals. I love her topics of what she talks about. And it seems like she talks about a lot of things like kind of challenges in her lives, whether it's love challenges or just how she sees herself and how society and what society has made her think or have her thinking, and just very introspective thoughts, which I really like about her. So since then, I felt like there's a album coming out anytime. So I was thinking about it, and I was like, maybe this is it. And it wasn't, and finally it released. I really thought Made This Far was going to be the single that brings in the album, but it wasn't on this album, which is kind of funny. I think maybe there's going to be it looks kind of uneven. I think there's going to be some type of deluxe edition or something where the other songs might come on. I don't know. If it's not, this is perfect. Just the album itself is really nice. It's not really a lot of happy pieces to it, so go in with that thought, but understand that go in with a thought knowing that it's going to take a lot of thoughts that really don't really get talked about enough and put them right in face front, and I really like that. So let me go over some of the songs I like, and I'll talk about them, give a couple shout outs to the ones I didn't star, and yeah, so let's get started. So the first song that we have is Back to You. So this one, pretty much, I've had an issue kind of figuring out exactly what it means or what it was talking about at first, because the whole part of the good chunk of the song talks about how bad the relationship was and how things weren't going so well. And then, she ends the chorus with, I always gonna find my way back to you. And it makes me feel like it's like, is she, as much as all these things happening, are they still kind of getting back together, breaking up, getting back together kind of thing? It's one of the things she says in the chorus, actually, I actually wrote down a whole chorus, is, because I was scared of changing, losing faith in whatever we had left. Now we're strangers, we ain't the same. Yeah, maybe we've lost a bit more than we wanted to. Took a little time just to face the truth, that's all. I always gonna find my way back to you. That little part was just like, okay, so it took a while for them to realize that they weren't a good match, but yet she still finds her way back to him. And then it goes in further, it says, like, a light at the end of the tunnel, a little part of me tries to let it in, but the brighter it gets, the more I see how dark it's been. So the more that things have gotten better, the more she starts seeing how much that wasn't there for a long time inside their relationship. So I definitely get that direction. And so I feel like now saying it out loud, it might be about her getting back, having this kind of, we're back together, we're broken up, we're back together, we're broken up. Even with all these signs saying probably shouldn't be together, they're still together. Going into the next one, Nicer. This one talks about her tired of faking it throughout her life, and she talks about how she's like, I used to be nicer. I was the girl that would do anything to make someone like her. That shit makes you tired. And she goes into, look at all the time and energy I wasted it feels like overnight I forgot how to fake it. If it's on my mind, now I don't try to change it. So it seems like she got to this point where she was living a lot of her life just pleasing everybody. She's a people pleaser and being extra nice and extra this and really putting putting everybody first before herself. So now, and then something must have just clicked to where she's like, fuck it, not doing that anymore. And she's even, it feels like she's even surprised herself. She's like, it feels like overnight I just forgot how to be fake. And it feels like it wasn't any like, fuck it, I don't want to do it anymore. It was like, oh, my subconscious didn't want to do it anymore before I even realized I didn't want to do it anymore. And so now here I am, you know? But I think that's a good thing. I think eventually, to get to that point where you're just like, fuck it, I'm tired of pleasing everybody. I'm tired of leaning backwards for everybody. I want to do what I want to do kind of thing. I really like that. Going to the next one, which is I started a lot of these songs. Downhill from here. This one feels like she's feeling very jaded and hopeless towards the future. And she says, one thing she repeats says, I'm done taking advice from anybody under 50. And I definitely feel that, because I feel like there's a lot of lessons in life you learn for a while, all the way up till you get 50, because I feel like 50, not that I would know myself, but my theory, is that usually by 50, you start to kind of be even more introspective about your life. And that's a time where you start hitting the space of like, okay, I'm halfway through my lifetime, and now I'm looking back at all the stuff that's happened, all the mistakes, all the great achievements I've done, and all these things. And so I feel like then you start to get much more, you get wiser in that space to understand what life is really about. And I feel like that's what she's saying. She's like, if you're 50 up, I can definitely want to hear what you want to say. Because you're already in that introspective direction. Where if you're 20, if you're 30, you're not really thinking about it too hard. There's still a lot of shit that you're still learning. But yeah, I really like that song. A lot of these songs are pretty much piano, and I love that. Going to another one I like is Shit Happens. This one's a rough one. I feel like this one talks about exactly that. Shit happens. And it's very like, and at least more set kind of like ironic, where just like, this happens, but then this good thing happens, but then all of a sudden this happens. And it's just a reminder. It's just like, you'll never have control over life. And so it's better to kind of just accept things as they are, as they come, kind of thing. The one thing that she points out, she's like, the happy couple that you look up to is getting a divorce. Very ironic. And then it goes into, by all means, find the silver lining, or make good of the bad, but don't tell me there's a reason that somebody loses their dad. It's kind of direction, just like, yeah, I think we always search for reasons behind things and always think about like, what does this mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? And I do that a lot. I have this thing that I feel like everything happens for a reason. And so when shit does happen, it does make me feel kind of just like, what am I supposed to think about this then? It's just, but I think that's exactly what she's saying. She's like, shit does happen. And she even goes further into it by saying, sometimes shit just happens worse than you can imagine. Stop trying to make it make sense. Literally just talking right to me. Going to the next one is year from now. This one talks about her hoping that a year from now she won't have to think about her crush or her ex and not have this weird these kind of retro feelings about him, and over time she'll heal a little bit more over that year. And yeah, I feel like in that situation, it's what she's saying. I definitely been there. She's like, I can't wait for the day that comes when thinking of you doesn't boil my blood or my stomach doesn't drop whenever somebody brings you up. And then she goes into the chorus and says, all there is left for me is to do is wait, just wait, because I lose a little more of you each day. So she knows that as things have gone on, there's been less and less time of her doing that. And so she's like, I feel like by a year from now, I'll be good. You'll be out of my fully out of my system to where I can kind of move on with life. Going into out of excuses, this one's kind of interesting. I didn't really start it, but I do like it. This one talks about pretty much an ex who has not taken responsibility for his role inside the relationship and the breakup. So to the point where she's like, da, 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 da. What went wrong, owing all the truth, but I was worried. Wow, I was wrong for thinking that you would do that too. You would too. So pretty much, she's taking all of the responsibility, all that she has in the relationship, but he's not. He's just kind of just like left and kind of just like, oh, well, there it is, you know. But she's like, she says, but she's surprised. She's like, I really thought that you at least have some guilt of in the relationship, just in the basis of relationship just ending, you know, not just being like, whatever, it's done, you know, like, and I think that's what she feels like. She's like, that it would break your heart to know that your friend isn't your friend anymore. But I'm done feeling stupid. I'm out of excuses for you. So I think she's thrown a lot of excuses, like maybe because of this thing, maybe because of that, maybe because of that, maybe because I did this, maybe because I did that. But she sees just like, no, I took responsibility for my side. He hasn't. The whole point of this is that he hasn't. So that's when she thinks like, okay, I'm done taking responsibility, adding so all this worry about me, and if I did something wrong, so maybe that's the reason why he's insensitive over this. But she realizes like, no, he's just an asshole. So I'm just not gonna worry too much about it. Hurt Like That kind of continues that a bit, but talks about how the guy has no remorse over the fact that things have ended. She says, you made it so easy to just walk away like it meant nothing. Now I see what it was. You just wanted someone to make you feel like someone new. So pretty much using her for the betterment of himself. That whole kind of, I hate using this on Justin Bieber, but it's completely two of his fucking albums were just like, Haley, you saved me. Haley, you saved me. And it's like, Haley did not save you. There's a piece of you that did decide to go a certain way because it's just Haley may have helped you in that direction. And I feel like in this situation this guy was just like, oh, he wasn't in love with her more than he was in love with the fact that if he is in a relationship, everything in his life will change. And for the betterment of himself. And it's like, that's not how this works. You broke my heart. I thought I'd never get it back. I want you to hurt like that. So there's a part where she says, broke my heart and I thought I never get it back, and I want you to hurt like that. Pretty much in the idea of thinking, as she says, goes on and says, if this love doesn't hurt you, then did our love even matter? It feels like to her that the fact that he's indifferent towards this may seem like the love wasn't even there in the first place. Adding on to the whole idea that he was just looking for love to better himself more than be present in the full love and the full definition of what their relationship was. Another one I really like is Glad I Got You. When we go to 9 to 10, from track 9 to 11, kind of switch gear to a different direction. We have At the Same Time, where it talks about kind of like very contradicting herself, and she knows that she's trying to come to more peace about that direction, and knows that she's like, even this is how I feel, I still want to be close to you, still want to keep going with us. And then it goes into Glad I Got You, which I really, really like. This kind of muffled ukulele, it's the only thing that's in it, and I really, really like that. It's pretty much talks about the idea of her just really happy that he's by her side. And I like the fact that it feels like after a lot of darkness about the different relationships and how she's feeling, she starts the song off with, it's nice to see the sun again. It's nice to know that you, oops, I wrote that very sloppy. You're here. Nice to know that you're here. I feel like that kind of thing where it's just like, she finally made out of that dark space to where she's now in a much better, she can see the sun now. It's not depressing to where she was before. It's better now. I really like that. I like the ukulele kind of adds that kind of sunniness to it. And then it goes into finally the last song, which is When I Leave. when I leave home, pretty much talking about the idea of visiting her family and going to her hometown. And she's been solo on her own, like moved out and everything on her own, probably living in LA, but she'll go back to Georgia and be with her family. And she's like, I hate it every time I leave for whether it's for my job or going back home or back to my place. It's just, it hurts because I know it's just like we're so far from each other. We don't really see each other a lot, kind of thing. Um, but she knows she's one of the lucky ones because she does have that space to go home to. She does have people there to go to. There's a lot of people that don't have that. A lot of people that get disowned from their family, or people that have died, or families that have died, and parents that died. So you don't really have that place to go back and to kind of remind you of who you were, who you are, kind of thing. One part I liked in the lyrics, she says, got a life that I love going back to. Sometimes I wish I didn't have to. Yeah, which is kind of funny because nowadays we get a lot of musicians now that don't even go to LA anymore. Like they just stay in Minnesota or they stay in Georgia or they'll stay in like all these other spaces because music is because now streaming is a big thing and because you can kind of you can really, if people are looking for more of like, you got the good sound, you sound great, we're gonna like boost you up completely. And being independent as an artist is actually really, really beneficial now. It's much more, you can do a lot more things now than you used to where you had to be part of a record deal who likes to button you down to what their image is instead of what you want to do with your music. So hopefully there's a chance that she ends up just kind of just like moving back to Georgia and just like, I'll make music here. Because there's a lot of Georgia, I know Atlanta artists that actually do that. Like they're just there. That's just where they are. They don't go to LA to make it big. So hopefully that happens with her so she can be closer to her family because I really think that's really sweet. But that's what the song's about. Pretty much this album's really, really nice. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I really like it. I really feel like she opened up a lot of vulnerability into it, and I really, really like that. And especially just being more piano and acoustic kind of led. It keeps you inside. It keeps you inside the whole song, or the whole album. I like that. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you thought about her. If you liked the album, let me know. If you didn't, let me know. If you have a favorite song, let me know too. If you like this video, hit the like button, hit the down button. If you didn't like it, both is valid. If you do like this video, though, not only hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and a notification bell too, so you get more of my videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.